houses here are way out of our price range. When the business is good, we're gonna have the greatest house.
It's beautiful. This is an amazing house. You are going to love it.
Holy, this is the deal of a lifetime. So, what's the catch?
There was a crime, a murder.
In the house?
Several people, a family.
Accused claims he heard voices coming from within the house.
Well, houses don't kill people. To a perfect house and to a perfect family.
Who are you talking to?
The girl who lives in my closet.
And what's her name?
Jodie.
What's the matter?
Just seeing things, I guess. When did you come back to bed?
I can't sleep. This is my mind.
There was a family lived here some time ago. They had a similar problem.
I'm living in their house. We need to get out of here. Just pack up and go.
Everything we have is in this house.
It's okay, Mommy. Jodie won't hurt you. But the man who lives here, she says he's bad.
Almighty God, bless and sanctify this house.
Open the door! It's not opening! I can't open it! George? There's something evil in my house.
Okay, so we're recording. I don't know. Should I record on this too, just to? Sure, why not? Let's record. Wait, point it this way. Let's record.
No.
But I gotta know. I gotta look at this camera, not that camera. Okay. Gotta get used to this. You really gotta eat an icy right now?
Here,
Holy
I'll finish.
crap.
I'll finish just for comedy. I'm professional. You knew I was eating before we started. No, I told you we were going to record. No, I told you I'm grabbing ice cream. You wanted ice cream. Okay. You wouldn't have been finished with ice cream. Finish your thing, because... And throw it out. Of course I got it. They trust the shit. I know, because Batman is awesome. But you know what? You know what? You can see things in there. Save the best shirt I have for my for your glasses. This is what I get. They're not too bad.
Okay, guys. So today we are going to talk about the
Amityville Horror, the 2005 remake.
2005 remake with Ryan Reynolds. And what's interesting is that what we're trying to do is we're trying to make videos where we review scary movies or horror movies. And what's interesting about this one is that we also talk about Halloween Horror Nights.
There's speculation.
There's speculation that the Amityville Horror will be at Halloween Horror Nights 27. The reason why we speculate that is because Universal has a tendency of leaving Easter eggs in some of their mazes. What are Easter eggs?
Easter eggs are little hints. Say you're playing a video game and you see, something that references either, what the game is based upon or maybe what the next game will be. That is an Easter egg. So in Call of Duty Black Ops, you'll find an Easter egg for Black Ops 2 or for Modern Warfare. Things like that. Yes.
Coming back, guys.
So Easter egg. This is the definition for an Easter egg. You ready?
No.
A hard-boiled egg that is dyed and often decorated as part of the
This guy.
Easter
What
celebration.
the hell?
Okay, no.
That's not what they came here for.
So, well, that is the definition to Easter egg. But another definition is an unexpected or undocumented feature in a piece of computer software or on a DVD included as a joke or a bonus. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay, at the end of Krampus the Maze, there is the scene where the kid believes that Krampus somewhat forgave him and reversed everything, and Christmas returned to be Christmas. All his family members came back, And it goes into the scene where I guess they're in Krampus's workshop, and there's a bunch of snow globes, and each snow globe has a house. So at the end of the Krampus maze, you do see these snow globes, and if you have not noticed, which I'll post a picture of the that scene, and I'll post the picture of the snow globe with the house. One of the snow globes had a house that was very familiar and looked very similar to the Amityville Horror house. So that leads us to speculate that
The Amity House is coming.
it's coming. Also, there is I believe another movie that they're making for the Amityville Horror that's coming out in 2017.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, Conjuring.
So they
kind of
already
alluded to
have
it.
17 movies, but today we're just going to talk about the one that they made in 2005. So that's going to be the movie that we're going to talk about today. So let's get into it.
Amity Horror is based off of a true event. Like you say, true story. Everything about it is true, but it's a true event. You know, that's what it comes from.
Yeah.
And the beginning of the movie gives you some backstory into that event. This guy, he lives with his family, and you know, one night he said that voices were talking to him. He had voices in his ears, all of that, and he said that they were telling him to kill his family. And they got so strong that one night he grabbed his shotgun and he killed his whole family. Pleaded not guilty in court, and
Basically
said
said that
that were
there
talking
were
to him.
voices in the house that were telling him to kill his family.
So, years later, after, you know, everything has died down about the house, a realtor actually takes them to this house, and the female lead,
Melissa George,
and she played Kathy Lutz. Alright, so Kathy loves this house. She has to have this house. George was a little George was a little reserved about it. He didn't really want
Well, George was smart. So George, when he saw that this house was going for so cheap, he knew that
something was up.
Something was up with this house.
But this house was cheap, and Kathy decided she had to have it.
Yeah.
She wanted it.
Thought it was going to be good for the kids.
Good school
and
system,
also,
a bunch of things.
George Lutz, had a boat. So
it was right on the.
it was pretty much
right on
what
the
they were
water.
looking for.
George asked the realtor, he's like, "Why is this so cheap?" And the realtor, who's been skeptical of the house this whole time, every time she hears something, anytime anything happens, she's like ready to run out. She knows the story. But she thinks it's haunted. She's not telling them that. She tells them whatever happened here happened years ago. The whole town has gotten over it. But it's cheap because this is the house where that man killed his whole family. The Amityville Horror house.
Yeah. And I'll give you a little bit of background on the family. Sorry, I got like a weird itch in my eye. Okay. Going back into the family. So they're recently married, George and Kathy, right? Kathy Lutz.
Yeah.
She has 3 kids. They're not his kids. So they're from a previous marriage. The prior husband passed away.
Yeah.
What's weird is that they have his last name.
I think that was just a big oversight.
So you got Billy, you got Michael, and you got Chelsea. So Chelsea is the little girl. So what's weird is that a lot of scary movies, ghosts tend to reach out to the youngest of the of like the children. Usually always.
That is explained in another horror movie.
I think it's because of their innocence.
They're the most gullible.
So, okay, they move into this house, and I think immediately, because I think they only lasted 28 days in that house.
Yeah,
the first day, the little girl
Chelsea
starts to make friends with this, what her family thinks, what her parents think, or what her mother thinks is an imaginary friend. But not every imaginary friend is
imaginary.
Oh, imaginary.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Also, the Amityville Horror happened in Amityville, New York, just in case for those who want that information. And the house is located in Long Island. It is up for rent right now, actually. Oh, yeah, we can look that up. The house is up for rent right now for anybody who wants to take their shot. Interested in having a good time. I am not willing to take that shot, but I encourage you to take it. And if you do, I want an invite to the housewarming party.
Jodie, the ghost that Kathy is friends with.
Not Kathy, that Chelsea's.
Chelsea is friends with. Is actually the name of the daughter.
The last one to get killed.
The last one to get killed up supposedly in the closet.
George has been sleeping in his private study because that's where his furnace room is. And one morning while Kathy is making breakfast, she notices the magnets on the fridge, and it says, "Is it catch him, kill him, catch him and kill him, catch him and kill him." And she starts freaking out. Then when George comes in, because he hears her freaking out, it goes back to saying A B C D E F G H I, all that regular kitchen magnet stuff.
Then we go into a scene of the movie where the parents decide to go out on a date. They've been experiencing a few crazy things. They kind of just wanna. They believe it's the stress of the house and the whole process of the purchase that probably has them a little bit
skeptical, crazy. Everything's going on.
So they say, hey, you know what? Let's go out. So they hire a babysitter. And what's freaking weird, and I don't know if there's only like a handful of babysitters to choose from over there in Amityville, but they happen to hire
the same babysitter.
Lisa, which is the same babysitter who used to babysit the DeFeos. Anyway, they hire her. She goes, the parents leave, and she ends up going into the boys' room, which was where Billy's room, and she starts sort of like teasing them or like bullying them and saying that it's kind of sick that they live in this room or they're staying in this room, and tells them the story about the DeFeos being murdered by the father. After the story was told by Lisa, then you have Chelsea, who goes into the room and basically just tells Lisa, you're a bad babysitter.
Yeah. And Lisa's like, what the hell?
Yeah, like, what?
And
why?
Chelsea's like,
oh, because
Jodie
said you're horrible. You're the worst babysitter ever. Lisa gets upset at this and says that it's Jodie's fault that she got fired.
I know Jodie's not talking to you because Jodie got killed in that closet right there.
Yeah.
Cue the closet.
Then Billy says, hey, you know what, Lisa? I dare you to go into that closet.
Just like that.
The same closet Jodie was murdered, supposedly.
Yeah.
And when, kind of weird, when she walks into this closet, the door slams shut, locks, and she can't get out the closet. After a few seconds, she's encountered by
Jodie. She sees this kid. Not only does she see this kid, but the gun wound is on Jodie. She makes her poke her finger.
That was pretty sick.
Right through.
So Jodie takes Lisa's finger. Lisa's finger, and actually puts it right through the gun. Oh, that was the other side of the head. Terrible. Which is pretty sick. That was grotesque. Oh pretty my. Good part of the movie there.
But basically, she went into shock.
Yeah.
Paramedics had to wheel her out of the house, and the parents show up and they're like, "What happened? Who did this? What happened to Lisa?"
Lisa tells Kathy. What? That she Lisa. Yeah. Lisa. How did Lisa say it? Because Lisa, when she was being rolled out, the parents were coming in. Oh. What happened? And then she said that she saw Jodie.
When they go in, the kids confront the parents about figuring out why they're in a house, why they bought a house, that all these things happen, and why would you buy a house where all these murders happen? George is acting incredibly Like he's like
Yeah.
this terrible.
He
jerk.
gets he's become at this point he's become very abusive to Kathy and to the children, especially the children.
Especially
Yeah.
especially the boys.
Yeah.
But mostly the older boy. You just start to see scenes.
Kathy believes something's wrong with this house. Something's wrong with this place. After seeing ghosts, because she's seen ghosts, after seeing these weird things going on, she says, you know what, we need to get a priest in here. God bless. So she goes and she visits a pastor, Father Calloway. Okay, that's his name. To kind of see if he can go bless the house and prevent any future paranormal activities from happening. So Father Calloway, goes to the house, and this was kind of freaky. He starts, saying his prayers. He takes out the holy water, and as he's spraying this holy water, and it's hitting the floor, it's sort of like burning the house. And then as he continues to pray, he starts to hear voices coming out through this vent. He gets on a stool or chair, and he starts to kind of put his ear towards the vent that's located on the top of the that room.
And a fly comes out like an idiot.
He
like
started
all
getting
horror
attacked
movies.
by flies.
All over.
Flies were everywhere in his mouth. Basically, he had to run out the house. He ran out the house, got in the car, and sped out, left, which was the smart thing to do. Kathy, on the other hand, was a little confused as to why this priest just went running out of our house, and decided to do some research of her own, and discovered that the house used to belong to a cult.
Yep.
That was run by a preacher named Reverend Jeremiah. The house used to belong to a cult. It was run by Jeremiah Ketchum, who basically captured and tortured and killed many Native Americans during the 17th century. He's basically the cause to this house or this apartment. Yeah, this.
Why people hear voices?
This house, the house located on Ocean Avenue, to be haunted. Kathy then believes that George has become possessed by Jeremiah Ketchum.
He almost
So
killed Kathy.
Kathy decides that the only way to get rid of this is probably getting the family out of the house. So she tried to get them, out of the house, evacuate them, and possess George by Reverend Jeremiah Ketchum. Is basically chasing them around the house, trying to kill them. So they basically knock him out. They knock out George Lutz with the shotgun. They basically drag him and tie him down and throw him into the boat, where they then basically drive off. But wait, question.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a boat, is it drive? Sail off? Okay.
I believe a motorized vehicle is driving.
So they basically drive off, and as they get away from the house, he's released from spiritual possession. Mm-hmm. So he's no longer possessed by Jeremiah Ketchum.
Skeptical.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
So basically they left 28 days, after 28 days after moving in. And then the final scene, getting to the end of the movie, when they leave, they focus back onto the house where the front door is open, and standing right in the middle of the house is Jodie, and she's screaming. It doesn't say why she's screaming. I assume that it's because she's lonely. Now there's nobody she can communicate with. For some reason, her spirit is the only spirit lingering in this house.
I just assumed it was like a call. I guess her spirit wasn't, benevolent. Like, it wasn't evil. It was like, she didn't actually do anything that would be considered evil outside of to Lisa, because, Lisa was a bad babysitter, honestly. She was more just than most spirits. So, at the end, a bunch of spirits grabbed her. So I think that's what was happening. I think she was the reason she wanted people to stay in the house with her was because she didn't want to get attached to those spirits, the evil ones.
Yeah, because she's living in that house with all those tortured Native Americans.
Yeah.
So she's screaming, and then out of the floor, a bunch of hands, which we're assuming are the spirits of the Native Americans that were tortured,
and I would
basically pull her down into the basement.
Any spirit that was killed there.
Another thing that we're not going to get too much into, but if you watch the movie, George, which was George Lutz, the one that was being possessed by Reverend Jeremiah Ketchum, would constantly wake up at 3:15. Now, I had no idea what 3:15 meant or why they chose 3:15. And 3:15 has been a time that they used in a few scary movies, and it so happens that they believe, or you believe, or whoever wants to believe, that 3:15 in the morning is the time where our realm, right? The barrier between our world and the spirit world is the thinnest.
Movie ends. So we're gonna give our ratings on this movie. You wanna go first this time? No. There we go. Alright. So first I do have to take off a couple points because it's a remake. It's my only thing. The original's always better. But I mean, being it was a faithful remake, I have to give it a 4.4, 4.5. It did its job. Out of 5? Out of 5. 4.4 out of 5. Okay. And I mean, it was a good movie. It did its job. It scared you. It didn't, try to vary too far from the original. The only thing, like, there were some minor inconsistencies in there. Things that, if you were gonna make a new movie, you could have at least patched up, like the kids having the same last name, even though it was a different dad. Oh, that's weird. And I think some of the artistic license, things like that, they could have been more faithful to the original. That's never a good sign. Stop being weird, bro. Never a good sign. Just call it a bug. Okay. Stop being weird, bro. Mind you, there's not like bugs in my house. I don't know why I have bugs in. Okay. We're talking about so I have to give this movie a 3. 3. I would even say a 2.5 to 3. Cool. Okay. First off, I hate movies that say they're based off of true events, because I just watched this movie and the only thing I can think of, like, really, did this really happen? So that's one. Two, there was no good scares, really. I mean, there were a few, like 2 maybe, that scare you. But for a horror movie, it wasn't really scary. It didn't have too many scares. 3, it was very short. It was very short. It was a lot of talking, not too much action, and then ended like, oh, okay, let's get away from the house. Movie over. You know what I mean? With this, it ended too quick, too easy for me. Not enough scares. Not a lot of. It's supposed to be a paranormal movie. Stuff is supposed to happen, and really, you only had 2 ghosts that really appeared. You have a few letters on the refrigerator move, and you assume that George was possessed by Reverend Jeremiah Ketchum, but you don't see him being possessed. I don't know. Does that make sense? I mean, he killed the dog. He was acting like an I get that, but I need more. I need to see. I mean, there is a little scene, but that's my opinion. I give it a 2.5. I mean, you do constantly see him down there and things talking to him, Yeah, it make it clear. It just wasn't a movie for me. I felt like, you know what, I'd rather watch this in a documentary than a horror film. Maybe the remake will be better. I don't know, but that's me.
Going into Halloween Horror Nights, right? We're good? Halloween Horror Nights?
Okay. Wait. Hold on. So your final rating is a...
Well, I can't decide whether I want to give them a 2.5 or a 3. So, I'll give them a 2.7.
Okay, so then between the two of us, a 4.4, a 2.7, split the difference, this movie got a 3.5.
Out of 5.
Out of 5. Not bad.
Yeah, and that was my opinion. You might like it. He liked it more than I did.
I liked it. I thought it was...
I guess it depends what remake you see. This remake didn't do it too much.
Well, look, there are other remakes that try to say they're Amityville Horror. If they're not affiliated with, Amity, like I saw one called Amityville Terror. It was terrible. It was a 1.3. It had nothing to do with the actual... So you just have to find the right remakes.
Yep.
Yeah, because anybody can use Amityville in their title. It's really, it just has to be about the actual movie.
Going into Halloween Horror Nights, so now we've already discussed that Halloween Horror Nights last year, the 26th event, had that Easter egg at Krampus, and could this possibly be a house? Can you picture this being a house for Halloween Horror Nights? I think it can.
Yeah,
and I think it'll be a lot better than this remake.
I can see it. Again, it's like a lot of things, it has to be done right. But Amityville Horror is such a staple in and just horror, the genre in general, that like it even popped up in The Conjuring 2, you know, that was made last year and all that. And like I said, it's always just been a matter of when, not if. So I know it's gonna happen. It might not be next year. I hope it's next year. That'd be really cool. But I know it's gonna happen at some point, and just depends how they make it. If it's gonna be a good house.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that it's
just gonna
pretty
happen.
confident that it's gonna happen. It's coming. I don't know what year they're gonna use, what remake they're gonna use, or what movie they're gonna use.
The original.
To make this house, but I think what's interesting is that this is an event that happened to this family. Maybe not all the things in the movie that you see happen, but this is a true story. Part of it is, and to be able to take fans and transport them into this event, make them part of this event, you know, and see this. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and it's cool because it's not like, you know, our last video was The Ring. It's not like that it wasn't a real story. This is something that actually had, well, at least, you know, an event that, you know, came into fruition, at least the beginning. At least, you know, that dude did definitely kill his kids and his family in this house. This actually did happen. Yeah. And these people, the Lutzes, actually did, you know, buy this house. All of that actually happened.
Yep. So, again, my rating was a low rating. Didn't really like this new remake. Watch it. Give your opinion on it. Comment on it. Tell us what you think. Maybe our speculations might be wrong. I'm pretty confident that it's not wrong. I know it's really early to be kind of guessing what houses will be coming to the 27th event. But I'm pretty sure that this was a hint from Universal. And I don't know how long it's going to take them to bring it to the event. But I know it's coming to the event. Yeah. And I think I'm pretty confident that they're going to make it a lot better than this remake. Alright, the actors were good. Don't get me wrong. The actors were good. Storyline was
Ryan
kind
Reynolds is always good.
But
I mean...
But yeah,
I like
it's coming to Halloween Horror Nights. It's going to be an awesome house if they make it. It's going to be a different experience. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do to this house. And again, this is Louis. This is
God MC.
Comment below. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you liked it. And let us know which remake is possibly the best remake of the Amityville Horror.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe I'll change my
the best remake. Give me the remake. Not the... Because the original will always be best. Happens all the time.
And now we're out.
We are out. There you go. Okay. Yeah, I did that. No, you're not. Okay. No, you're not.